The morning sun peeked softly through the curtains of a small, cozy house perched on a gentle hill in the town of Maplewood. Birds sang their usual cheerful songs, and the world seemed peaceful, yet inside that little white house, something was quietly breaking. Max, a golden retriever with warm/gentle eyes and a thick, shiny coat, sat patiently by the front door. His big brown eyes were fixed on the rusty blue truck parked just outside. His tail thumped softly against the wooden floor. Max wasn't just any dog. It was Leo's best friend, his loyal companion. They had been inseparable since the day Leo found him as a tiny, shivering puppy. On a cold and stormy night, Leo had heard soft whimpers coming from a park bench and found Max alone, trembling and scared. Without hesitation, Leo scooped him up and promised to take care of him forever. And he had kept that promise. Every morning, they walked together beneath the tall oaks, sharing laughter and quiet moments. Max always waited for Leo after school, greeting him with a wagging tail and happy barks. They shared everything: meals, adventures, and dreams. But today was different. Leo's footsteps echoed heavy and slow across the wooden floor. He knelt down, wrapping his arms around Max's neck. "I have to go away for a little while," Leo whispered, voice thick with sadness. "But I'll be back soon, I promise." Max nuzzled his face, licking his hand gently, as if trying to understand what a little while really meant. Leo kissed the top of Max's head and stood up. He picked up a small bag and walked outside, closing the door behind him with a soft click that sounded louder than usual. Max sat there, frozen. The world outside seemed to change in that moment. The bright sunlight dimmed. The warm air turned colder. The happy noises of the morning faded into a heavy silence. Max didn't move. His paws stayed rooted to the floor. His eyes followed every inch of the truck as it slowly pulled away, carrying Leo farther and farther from home, back inside the empty house. Max waited. Hours slipped by. The kitchen clock ticked steadily, but Max didn't care about time. He wasn't hungry. He didn't chase his favorite ball or bark at the mailman. Instead, he sat by the door, eyes fixed on the empty road outside, ears twitching at every sound. Neighbors walked by, smiling and waving at the golden dog on the porch. "Where's Leo?" it asked Emma, Leo's sister, who tried to comfort. Emma sat beside him, rubbing his soft fur. "He'll come back soon," she told him gently, though inside she worried too. That first night, Max curled into a tight ball on the floor near the door. The house felt so big and so empty without Leo's laughter and footsteps. He dreamed of the day Leo found him. The stormy night when he was cold and alone. He dreamed of their games in the park, the way Leo's hand always smelled like home. He dreamed of waiting for his best friend to come back, and deep inside, Max hoped no, he believed that Leo would walk back through that door, because Max was more than a dog. He was a guardian of memories, a keeper of promises, and on this quiet morning, as the sun dipped low, Max made a silent vow. He would wait. No matter how long it took, because love like theirs was worth every second of waiting. Asterisk. Days stretched on like slow-moving shadows across the little white house on the hill. Max stayed exactly where he had been. The morning Leo left right by the door, the world outside kept spinning. The sun rising and setting, the seasons slowly shifting. But inside, time felt frozen. Max didn't chase the squirrels in the yard. He didn't race down the driveway when the mailman arrived. Didn't even play with his favorite squeaky toy, because Max was waiting. He was waiting for Leo. Each morning, Emma tried to coax Max with his favorite meals. She brought fresh chicken, warm stew, and even his beloved peanut butter treats. But Max didn't eat it. Not a single bite. He would sniff the food, then look up at Emma with those deep, soulful eyes. And then back at the door, as if saying, "I'm not hungry. I'm just waiting." Emma's heart broke a little more each day. She'd sit beside him on the cold kitchen floor, stroking his golden fur softly. "You'll be okay," she whispered, though she wasn't sure if she believed it herself. Blues. Coming home soon. Max didn't understand how long soon might be. He didn't know why Leo had to be gone. All he knew was that his best friend was missing, and until Leo returned, Max's heart felt hollow. The vet came to check on him. "His spirit is strong," the vet said quietly. "But grief can be just as heavy for animals as it is for people. Max is holding on to hope, but it's a fragile thing." Emma nodded, tears brimming in her eyes. "How long can he go without eating like this?" The vet sighed gently. "It's not much longer. We have to keep him comfortable and hope that Leo returns before Max loses too much strength." That night, Max curled up near Leo's boots by the door. The boots still smelled faintly of Leo's colono familiar. "Safe home," Max whimpered. Softly, a sound that echoed the loneliness that filled the empty rooms. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees and snow began to fall, thick and heavy, covering the world in a cold white blanket. Inside, Max shivered. But he never left his spot. Emma wrapped him in a warm blanket and stayed close, reading stories aloud, hoping the sound of her voice would soothe his aching heart. But Max's mind was filled only with memories of Leo's laughter, of the way he'd scratch behind his ears, and the quiet moments they shared. Side by side on the porch swing, as the sun set, every sound outside, the crunch of footsteps in the snow, the distant hum of a car made Max's ears perk up. Was that Leo? Just the wind? He settled back down with a heavy sigh. Days became weeks. Neighbors stopped by often, some bringing gifts for Max. One woman left a handmade blanket. A child brought a new chew toy, but Max didn't react. Nothing could fill the space Leo had left behind. Still, Max waited, through cold mornings and rainy afternoons. Through long nights filled with dreams of reunion, Max's loyalty never wavered. Emma often sat beside him, holding his paw. "You're so brave, Max," she told him softly. Leo would be so proud. Deep inside, Max believed that too. He wasn't just waiting for food or comfort. He was waiting for his family. For his best friend. For the moment when Leo's footsteps would finally cross the threshold of the front door. And even though his body grew weaker each day, Max's spirit remained strong, because love, true love, never gives up. The days had turned into weeks, and the weeks into a whole month. The world outside the little white house on the hill was blooming with spring birds chirped joyfully. Flowers opened their petals, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of fresh grass. But inside, the house held a quiet stillness. Max, the golden retriever, had grown thinner. His golden coat looked less shiny, and the sparkle in his eyes had dimmed, replaced by a patient, unwavering hope. Though he was weaker, there was one thing that kept him going, his love for Leo, every day. Max stayed by the door, waiting, watching, listening. He refused to eat more than a few bites, his body holding on with the strength of his heart. Emma, Leo's sister, had never left Max's side. She fed him gently, talked to him softly, and kept the house warm with firelight and kindness. But even with all her care, Max's soul seemed to belong somewhere far beyond the walls, waiting for one person. Then, one golden evening, as the sun began to dip low in the sky, painting everything in warm hues of orange and pink, a sound broke the silence. The distant rumble of a truck's engine, slow and familiar. Max's ears pricked up instantly. His nose twitched, sniffing the air like it held the scent of a miracle. His tail began to wag tentatively at first, and stronger with each passing second. The sound grew louder, closer. Max stood up, unsteady but determined. His paws scrambled across the wooden floor, heart pounding in his chest like a drum. The door creaked open, and there he was. Leo, weaker than before, but alive, smiling through exhaustion, his eyes shining with relief and love. "Max," Leo called, his voice cracking as he knelt down to meet his best friend. Max didn't hesitate. He leaped into Leo's arms, tail wagging furiously, mouth open in happy pants and wet kisses. Licked Leo's face again and again, as if saying, "I waited for you, I never left." Leo hugged Max tightly, burying his face in the soft fur. He had missed so much. Tears streamed down both their faces, tears of pain, hope, an overwhelming joy. Emma watched from the doorway, her own eyes glistening. She had prayed every day for this moment, and now it was here. That night, something miraculous happened. Max ate. Not just a few bites, but 2 full bowls of food. He drank water eagerly, finally letting the nourishment fill the emptiness inside. Leo smiled weakly, stroking Max's head. "You're my hero, buddy," he whispered. For Max, it wasn't just about food or survival, it was about coming home. The bond between them had been tested by distance and time, by worry and waiting. But it had never broken. Leo's recovery would be long, and there were many challenges ahead. But for the first time in weeks, Max's eyes sparkled with life, and his tail wagged with the promise of better days as the stars twinkled outside. The little house on the hill glowed with the warmth of reunion. Love had brought Leo home, and Max had waited, bravely and faithfully, through every lonely moment. Leo was finally home. The little white house on the hill was alive again. It's filled with soft laughter, quiet whispers, and the gentle patting of paws across the floor. Max stayed close to Leo's side, watching over him like a guardian angel wrapped in golden fur. Leo's body was still weak from the surgery and the long journey back, but his spirit was healing every day, lifted by the unwavering love of his best friend. At times, Leo struggled to get out of bed. His muscles ached, and simple tasks felt like mountains. But Max was there, nosing his hand, resting his head gently on Leo's knee, reminding him that he was never alone. Every morning, Max nudged Leo awake with soft, warm breaths and wagging tail, eager to start a new day together. The bond between them had been tested like never before, but it had grown even stronger. Max's loyalty was a quiet strength that helped Leo through his hardest moments. One afternoon, as the sun streamed through the window, Leo sat in his favorite chair, slowly doing his physical therapy exercises. Max lay nearby, eyes never leaving him, ready to offer comfort and courage whenever needed. Emma smiled, watching them both. Max didn't just wait for Leo to come back, she said softly. Waited because he loved. That love was patient and pure. It was the kind of love that didn't need words, its only presence. It was the kind of love that waited through long nights and cold mornings, and it was the kind of love that healed broken hearts. Months passed, and Leo grew stronger. One day, he and Max walked together outside, the sunlight warming their faces, breeze carrying the sense of spring. They ran through the fields, Max bounding joyfully. Leo Lafanga, sound full of hope and life. Neighbors who had watched the story unfold nodded quietly. Moved by the courage and loyalty between boy and dog, Max had become more than a pet. He was a symbol of hope, a reminder that true love waits without condition, no matter the distance, no matter the time, because some bonds are unbreakable. That night, as Leo and Max curled up together, the little house on the hill felt whole again. The past struggles faded into the background, replaced by a future bright with promise. And as Leo gently stroked Max's golden fur, he whispered, "Thank you for waiting. Thank you for never giving up." Max closed his eyes, his heart full. For in the quiet waiting, in the lonely days, and in the long nights, love had never left. Moral of the story: true love is patient and unwavering. Sometimes waiting is the greatest act of loyalty.